And every once in a while, it goes the way I've planned. Once in a while. I mean, you have no idea. Like, I'm joking. I'm not, trying to be disrespectful, but joking, not joking. Tournament directors is a labor of love. And by the way, they're making money off it. Hey, good. That's called capitalism. Capitalism is where our sport. You want the sport to grow, and people are going to make money at it. That's it. All the money that goes in to sponsoring events is all driven. Well, not all, but it's mostly driven by people who are making money. If I put $100 into this tournament in sponsorship, I hope I'm going to sell enough sandwiches to get $101 back. They're trying to make $1. I mean, it's capitalism. We're driven by money. Capitalism is a great thing. So if the tournament judges are making money, great. If making more money wants to make it work harder on a bigger event, great. They're that's fantastic. Good. They should all make money. And if they volunteer, bravo, but they shouldn't.
Right. Agreed. So we talked about this before the camera's on. Brodie Smith is making his move in Discraft, or Discraft has picked up Brodie Smith, and we talked about you making a change from playing frisbee into disc golf, and you made the change. But that's a hard thing to do, right? Because it's a different way of throwing a disc. So if you've thrown the frisbee too long, it might be harder to throw a disc.
There's a challenge that comes from going from ultimate or frisbee to disc golf. You have to view them as different sports. If you play basketball, it doesn't mean you can play baseball, even though they both have ball in the title, right? It's the same thing. I mean, there's some mechanics that are the same, but there's as much unlearning to be had as learning. If you're good at ultimate or good at frisbee, then you're coordinated. You have eye-hand coordination, you're coordinated, you're skilled, you're athletic. Maybe you have the body type for it. So it can translate, but you have to reinvent yourself. I mean, I think I mentioned I'm doing 104 private lessons in Texas. I'm booked out through the end of the month. So I have 26 days of the 31. I've got 4 lessons scheduled. I've booked, sold out for the month. And in that group of 104 players, there's some ultimate players that have come out. And I tell them, it's fantastic. I'll make you into a disc golfer like that. But it didn't happen automatically. It's a learned skill. They have to be willing to throw away some ideas. In fact, I start with, the way I start that lesson is, I start with, forget everything you know about playing ultimate. We're starting from scratch. I don't even ask them to throw a disc to see how I know how to throw an ultimate disc. They throw it not like you throw a golf disc. So I just say, look, you've never played disc, you've never played frisbee before in your life, start from scratch. And then we build up. We don't try to adapt their throw. That's the wrong way to teach. But this just comes from teaching. I don't try to tweak what they throw. I start over. Right on. By the way, Brodie Smith's talented. He's also a genius in self-promotion. He's got Discraft behind him, which is a fantastic company. So he'll be successful. I don't know where the ceiling is, but he'll be successful.
Sure. I'm kind of interested to see that, just like, especially after talking to you, see how that translation does work. I know he's played disc golf for a little while, but now he's like going full-fledged to see kind of what kind of player he can become. I'm kind of excited to see that.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And he brings a following, so he's going to put eyes on Discraft. It's a great promotional move from them, so win for everybody.
So I was going to ask you this question here. So is Innova really getting what they deserve after years of keeping the sport on lock? And this just comes from people saying from back in the day, Innova tried to keep disc golf as their thing, but then Discraft, other companies, Gateway started breaking through.
So what Innova did was they ran a business successfully. That's it. They won. They ran a successful business. Innova and Discraft put more money into the sport. You can't even compare the amount they did. The sport exists today because of Innova and Discraft. So did they get what they deserve? I don't even know what that means. They made a lot of money and they deserve it. That's what they got.
I think the big deserve thing was, it seemed like Discraft should make that, which I'm sure there's other kind of conversations behind the scenes.
That's fantastic.
But it seemed like they made that move, which I think that's where they kind of had to figure out who they're going to get, because they lost the top player, then they got Paige Pierce.
I mean, it's Paul's world. I mean, if you were playing chess, I don't want to say that sounds bad, but like it's Paul's world. I mean, go ahead and go after the other players. Paul moves the meter more than anybody, maybe more than everybody combined, to win for Discraft. That's it. Is Innova going to suffer? How do you suffer when you've already won? don't know. I guess maybe I have rose-colored glasses, but if you've made this much money, how does making this much money next year hurt you? I mean, like, yeah, I think
like there's plenty of room for all these companies. Dynamic Disc is blown up.
Dynamic Disc is a fantastic company. They've done a lot for me in Blue Power. I'm throwing a lot of their discs. Costaplast is great. RPM Discs is great. Gateway's great. UK Discs is a company that's going to blow up. No one knows about it yet. UK Discs is one that's going to blow up. Daredevil is going to blow up. I love all the small companies. Legacy, those guys are great. I like everybody. You're not going to get me say a bad word about anybody.
Right.
Sorry.
No. So it used to be always like people say, do you throw a rock or a buzz? We talked about this earlier. The Truth, you put that in the same category as far as another mid that's worth saying.
I like the Truth for the rock shots. I like the Waka Waka from RPM as a slightly unstable mid-range disc. The P-Walk.
P-Walk?
The P-Walk, yeah. RPM disc is going to blow up. They're on it.
Where are they from?
They are from New Zealand.
Okay. And what's the Plasta you said?
Costaplast is a company that a friend of mine runs out of Sweden. And they're actually going to do a signature disc for me. The Berg is my favorite disc in the world. The Berg from Costaplast. It's a putter, extremely slow. It's just perfect. I mean, you just throw it just goes by the hole. For everybody, every throw, it never has a bad shot. I don't know. It's a perfect disc.